the rise in violent extremism in several fronts. Number one, religious extremism. And I think the Shakahola example will just illustrate best that we have a problem in this country which we regard as a religious problem, a social issue, but it's not. It's an existential threat to our country. We are still in Shakahola, and I am afraid we have more mass graves in Shakahola, which are not opened. We'll start opening those graves on Monday, once the current phase of postmortems of the last cohort of bodies is concluded at the end of the week. We are also going to take new measures which are announced from that space, which has almost become my second office. Next week, I'll be back there. But the kind of damage Shakahola has done on Kenya, if we do not remedy and deal with this problem head on, this is the kind of threat that can hurt the country in the scale and manner in which some countries have been hurt. Our good neighbor Rwanda is an example of what happened in that country because of ethnic fundamentalism. Now that is religious extremism. We are also witnessing cultural extremism, mainly in central Kenya and parts of Upper Eastern. In Upper Eastern, the cultural extremism and Northern Rift Valley, the cultural extremism is in the perpetuating of some of the crimes we are fighting in that area, including cattle rustling. There is a cultural extremism component that we must tackle. In central Kenya, we have seen during the period under review a reemergence of cultural extremism by groups which are proscribed under the law of Kenya and which some people would like to revive. We saw them chanting the other day outside the DCI when we arrested a suspect. And you can see the courage, the demeanor, the impunity of these criminals. I spoke on Sunday. I would like to repeat for purposes of clarity. Any person who thinks that we can go back to the years when terror groups hiding behind culture raped our women and our children, as well as extorted money from business people, that person is dead wrong. All those who could be recruiting unsuspecting youths to take part or to join prescribed organizations are enemies of Kenya. And for the sake of Kenya, we have to come for you, and we'll get rid of you so that you go where criminals go. Criminals are supposed to be in prison, and I am the Minister for Prisons. As much as I want to decongest prisons, but at the same time, I have room for dangerous criminals, like the people recruiting our young boys, giving them hard drugs and cheating them, that they can fight security agencies, extort money, kill people, and commit sexual violence against the women and girls of Kenya. So there is a cultural extremism, and then religious extremism, and non-religious extremism. No amount of resistance will arrest our resolve to make sure that Shakahola never happens again on the soil of Kenya. No amount of resistance, not even by going to court and getting injunctions and having suspects freed on bail. We will use whatever method feasible as a country, because it is a shame for us collectively as a country that Shakahola happened. By allowing Shakahola to pass like that, we would have failed future generations. And therefore, all those priests, pastors, monks, rabbis, imams, other religious people who could be involved in criminal activities and are hiding behind the Holy Scriptures, that the use of Holy Scriptures will not save you from the jaws of justice. We are done with Mackenzie and his perpetrators. We will have you as the next example. And I can report we are actively investigating a number of extremists, leaders of groups purporting to be religious groups, but who are engaging in serious crimes against humanity, including sexual violence, slavery, torture, and inhumane and degrading treatment. No religion, no scripture, no legal provision will save you from accountability and justice. We will not fear you because you are invoking the name of God. We are all human, and we all know God in our own ways. So we are not going to allow you perpetuate crimes and hide behind scripture. And fundamentalism and extremism is not a reserve of a particular religion. All criminals hiding behind religion, your time for business in Kenya is over. Look for another business. People manipulating believers and faithfuls, robbing them their property, indoctrinating them, radicalizing them. And when we ask questions, they wave some doctrine. As you're aware, we have established a task force, and the Commission of Inquiry has been established. Those are some of the accountability mechanisms that will help us, but we are actively investigating, and we are zeroing in on a number of other Mackenzie-like people before they cause us harm. The harm levels will be less, but the direction they are taking is the Mackenzie-Shakahola route. Finally, in terms of national security threats, is the rise of violent resolution of political, economic, and social disputes in our country.